Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are watching this live broadcast from. My name is ThatSpaceDogeGuy, and today we are live for the CRS-32 mission with just 25 minutes to go until the liftoff of the Falcon 9 rocket. So once again, today will be another cargo mission to the International Space Station with many science resupplies and all that kind of stuff, science experiments for the International Space Station, and see how that goes. Today will be the launch of the rocket, and tomorrow will be the docking of the Cargo Dragon spacecraft, and that will be happening a bit later on. Docking will be tomorrow. So we're just coming on 25 minutes until the launch. Propellant load has started about 5 to 10 minutes ago. As propellant load was go to proceed, and it seems that everything is go for launch with just 25 minutes to go. Today we see everything go to plan, and we have two views here for you. This is the first view, the launch pad camera, and this is the other camera from the viewing site. So let's actually go over the research that's going to be done on the CRS-32 launch vehicle for tomorrow and for the coming months. So we're just going to play that video in a short minute here if we have it. Hold up. I think we should. Okay, please stand by. I'm trying to get the video. Alright, let's look at the research overview.
A new mission is headed to the space station, NASA's SpaceX CRS-32, and it is packed with possibility. On board, a new wave of cutting-edge research, sponsored by the ISS National Laboratory, is ready to launch innovation into orbit. From plant biology and physical sciences to the validation of new tools like a biomedical microscope, this mission is fueling discovery that could transform life on Earth and beyond. Among the projects, a biomedical investigation from the University of Connecticut and Esker Biotech, a team that is no stranger to sending science to the station and whose impacts could have wide-ranging advancements in therapeutics from osteoarthritis to even cancer. Let's take a closer look at how this mission and this team are pushing the boundaries of science aboard the space station.
For the SpaceX 32, we are launching two products. One is nanotherapeutics trying to treat osteoarthritis, and the other is a nanoscaffold trying to regenerate the scar tissue. What we are trying to do is to identify the best assembly process, especially the aging time for those nanoparticles in space. Our technology can impact multiple different types of chronic disease, including osteoarthritis and cancer.
Nanomedicine is part of an overall medicine trend that's happening right now, and really kind of thinking about ways to target a disease at its source. When we encapsulate very toxic oncology drugs, we can reduce the size of a tumor while we're also reducing side effects. Anything that we can do to make that process more effective for cancer patients on Earth, we can't wait to get that work started.
Our first launch, what we found is that space can improve the production of our nanotherapeutics by 40% in terms of their uniformities and efficacy.
The disease models that we can generate in low Earth orbit are going to allow us to be able to get accelerated results. It's also going to give us an opportunity to really create something that's just not possible on a terrestrial production line right now.
When we use space to produce our nanoparticles, they target the cancer cell much better than traditional pharmaceuticals. In the future, we want to have a full product line that we can produce a pharmaceutical in space, we test them in space, and we can use them either in space for very long space missions, but also we can bring this product back to help patients on Earth.
We feel that we've been really privileged to be part of a continuum of science that has been happening for the past 25 years. On the space station, every time we send stuff up, we feel the responsibility to really maximize every single trip because it is a privilege to be able to do this work.
To learn more about all ISS National Lab sponsored investigations launching on NASA's SpaceX CRS-32, please visit our website at issnationallab.org.
And welcome back, everyone, to the live launch coverage of the CRS-32 launch with the Falcon 9 rocket. We see the big vent happening now, crossing T-minus 20 minutes. And we can even see that from this camera. I think someone is having a short interview over at the mission clock, because I see a camera and two people talking. So should be some news site or something. So let's get back to the launch vehicle here, the Falcon 9 rocket with stage 1, stage 2 and cargo Dragon. We can even show you the things, but if you just have a minute. I hear my own live stream, by the way, from someone's phone. Quite funny. I hear 2 people having my live stream on. I'm trying to do something, but it's taking a little. Alright, I think I have the stuff stood up here now. Alright, so taking a look at the rocket itself here, we see the cargo Dragon stage 1 and stage 2 here. Just checking some information here. How could I have missed that? Alright, so information about the boosters and all that stuff. So the booster for today is B1092. It's its 3rd flight. It is its 3rd flight with a 28th turnaround from last launch. And today's booster will be landing on landing zone 1 here, which is near Cape Canaveral as well. Previously launched on the NRL, the booster previously launched on the NRL 69 mission and a Starlink mission. And the first launch was on February 27th, 2025 here. So, basically 1 launch every month for that booster from all 3 launches combined. And today's cargo Dragon launching, or is that a crew Dragon? No, that's a cargo Dragon, which is actually launched on CRS-32, which is quite interesting. Flight 5 for it is the C209. It has now 4 flights on this board, and today will be the 5th flight for that vehicle. Last launch of that C209 was on March 21st, 2024 on the CRS-30 mission, and it launched on the CRS-27, CRS-24 and CRS-22 mission. So that was pretty interesting. So now that we know how the rocket and Falcon 9 performs, let's head to, what should we do? Oh yeah, the launch site is launching from. We'll be launching on launch site or launch complex 39A at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Many people recognize that actually from the launch tower next to the rocket, and the camera pointing to the rocket, which is quite something. Today's Falcon 9 will be launching for the 45th time in 2025 and for the 463rd time overall, which is quite a lot. So yeah, today's rocket will be launching at 8:15 UTC, which is in Eastern time, Eastern Daylight Time actually, 4:15 AM. It is actually around 4:16 AM because the seconds are 42, so yeah. And of course, like I said, the stage 1 will return to a landing zone, not a drone ship this time. Yesterday we did see a booster, the B-1082, launch and land on, of course, I Still Love You, launching from Vandenberg Space Force Base. Now less than 15 minutes until the liftoff. Could actually go to SpaceX coverage here, or NASA's coverage, I should say. If we have it. Yep, SpaceX actually started their live broadcast here. So let me just go to the X feed because the NASA logo doesn't drop on there. So we're gonna use the clean feed cameras we have over here, and the SpaceX feed. Ref, man, this is cheating. Alright, let's go to the broadcast here. Let me just put it in. Let's actually listen to the coverage from SpaceX and NASA. Alright, well, you heard from the SpaceX commentary there for a couple of minutes. Well, welcome Daniel Sugua, if I'm saying that right. Welcome to the live stream here. Yeah, today will be the CRS-32 launch, as you probably know. Hello everyone, didn't stream today, so hang out there. Oh, surprising you are not streaming this, because you're normally, like, live for many launches. I don't know what time it is in Malaysia. Maybe it's too late for you to do anything. I don't know. But I don't know. But yeah, we are about 7 minutes 50 seconds until the launch here. And yeah, pretty much that's so yeah, everything has been going according to plan here. All systems have been configured for flight soon. Will be configured for flight soon. And NASA started their broadcast about 10-20 minutes ago, so yeah, pretty much that. So SpaceX is now playing a video of these signs on board. We could take a look at that. I have class day, so schedule pretty tight and can't stream for today. Oh, okay. I have 2 weeks free holidays, I think. Yeah. Jeez, my voice is dead.
Relies on highly accurate atomic clocks in space. The aerosol monitors investigation will test 3 different air quality monitors designed to detect airborne particles, like dust, that must be kept within safe ranges for crew health and hardware performance. Results will inform NASA's selection of the best device suited for future missions to the Moon and Mars. New industrial crystallization cassette hardware will add capabilities to an existing protein crystallization facility aboard the space station. This allows the processing of more sample types, including golden nanospheres, which can be used in devices that detect cancer and other diseases, or in targeted drug delivery systems. A new plant experiment will examine the genetic
Oh no. Extreme having some problems here. Is there any notable payload inside the series that might catch your eye? Well, not really, but yeah, I think it's pretty regular for them now, these days. Why are we having... Should I stop the Twitch stream? Yeah, we're stopping the Twitch stream. Maybe that reduces lag. You never know. Oh, they have stopped their entire stream. Okay, quick, go to NASA Plus, everyone. No, YouTube.com/. Okay, at least this feed still works. Teen. Oh yeah, we have the other view as well. Yeah. Alright, so I've showed a video earlier of the research on board. That video was, I believe, with ISS National Labs or something. You can check it out yourself if you missed it. Maybe revert back on the live stream, I don't know. But we are 4 minutes and 40 seconds away from the launch, and there we have the feed again from SpaceX, actually NASA, but it counts as SpaceX here because it's their feed that they prod. Also have Stromback retract in a bit. Oh, it's fine. Yeah. Okay, we have a 10-second delay in the SpaceX feed on YouTube because I don't know. It's just...
You can see those clamp arms opening around.
Oh yeah, you can actually see it opening on the top. That is pretty cool. Let me just check this camera.
Clamp arms are now fully open, and you should see that strong back begin to recline away from the Falcon 9 booster.
Help you cover the NASA logo.
It's starting to recline.
Now it's reclining. This is pretty cool. There it goes. Oh, we'll go back to this. I guess I'll watch for now. Excited to hear coming there for this one. Yeah.
So green, if for some reason
I will be counting down and taking
we will have a
the
backup opportunity tomorrow, April 22nd at 3:53 a.m. Eastern. As you heard, that call out for stage 1 liquid oxygen loading has been completed.
Okay, it looks like LOX load here is complete shortly.
At T-minus 60 seconds, Falcon 9 in startup. This means the rocket's autonomous internal flight computers have taken over the launch countdown. And just inside T-minus 2 seconds, we will light up the Merlin 1D engines for liftoff.
All
the
right,
vehicle continues to be healthy, and the Falcon 9 team is tracking no issues. Currently, the weather is green, and the range is ready to support a T0 at 4:15 a.m. Eastern. We only have a 5% probability of violation due to weather, so everything is looking great. And in these last few minutes, Falcon 9 is performing final health checks on its primary communications, avionics, and propulsion systems in preparation for flight. We'll hear some callouts.
Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
Stage 2 LOX load complete here.
Loading complete.
We're getting ready. 1 minute, 35 seconds.
At the time of launch today, the International Space Station will be flying some 260 statute miles. Over in northwest Turkey, as Dragon has entered auto idle.
Alright. That marks the final go, I hope. We'll probably hear that soon. Let me just do this. Let me make sure. Okay. We're good. 1 minute. Startup has now begun, I hope. The Falcon 9 is in startup. That's what it should happen. 45 second. Falcon 9 has started. We heard it from. Get a go for launch. LD go for launch. Alright. We're getting closer and closer to the liftoff here. Oh no, camera. No, there goes the camera. Alright. 20 seconds. Let me just get the audio in a bit. There we go. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff of the Falcon 9. There it is. Beautiful launch. Successful liftoff of the Falcon 9 rocket, bringing CRS-32 to the International Space Station. I hear nothing from the... I know here. We should get that soon. There it is. Let's listen. Beautiful audio here as we just saw successful liftoff of the Falcon 9 rocket. Beautiful views. Gosh. There, launch pad as well. We've now passed Max Q just a bit ago, and coming up in about 30-40 seconds will be MECO, main engine cutoff, and then after that will be the stage separation, and then a second later the second stage will start. And like I said, the booster will be landing back to the landing zone 1, so there will be a boost back burn. Let's actually listen to SpaceX feed again. Gosh. There's the MECO. Let's take a look at SpaceX, their feed, because we're not gonna see it. Oh, we actually do. Oh, wow. Boost back burn. Oh, wow. That is ridiculously... that is just cool. It's just cool. Let's take a look back. Jellyfish flame. Well, a bit. It's not even sunrise yet there, so. Beautiful. We got the timetable here. And because it will be landing on the landing zone here. Oh, I heard Jesse there. Because it will land on the landing zone, we will have footage from our cameras again. Or from the cameras again. Catching the landing perfectly, hopefully. Vehicle continues to follow nominal trajectory. We don't have that on our timetable here. The time bar you can actually see we'll use for special missions like these ones. Payload separation should actually say cargo dragon, but that's just a preset here, so. We actually saw it on the camera. I wanted to switch, but I was quite too late there. Let's actually get the timetable away here and get ready for that landing here. There's the landing burn. Not really the best view, but you can see landing legs have been deployed. And there it is. Landing confirmed. Let's see it on the SpaceX feed as well. That is absolutely insane. Het is wel goed, want ik moet nu 20 jaar en ik heb dat niet besteld. Ik moet op Ali dat zelf verder facturen. After that shutdown, we should see the separation from Dragon a minute later. Let me get the countdown back for y'all.
We're on track for Dragon separation.
Sorry for the jump scare there.
Under 30 seconds here. The vehicle is now coasting with Dragon attached, and we are just moments away from spacecraft separation. We're seeing a great view from the second stage as it cools down and prepares to separate Dragon so that it may begin its journey to the International Space Station. Looks like we may be seeing the sun rising and shining on that MVAC.
Dragon separation confirmed.
There is that confirmation of Dragon separation.
Amazing.
We've had a great mission so far with an on-time liftoff at 4:15 a.m. Eastern Time, a successful stage separation followed by a successful landing of our first stage at Landing Zone 1 and a good orbital insertion. We are now just waiting for nose cone deployment, which should happen in just a few moments here. So I'll hand it back over to you, Joseph, at JSC.
We'll also track the CRS-31 craft the entire day.
Great to see the NASA space.
This is actually the first time since about a year ago that I did trackers on my YouTube channel. So we're gonna be live probably for a very long time. But we're not gonna have commentary or anything. It's just gonna be some music, probably some lo-fi or some, I don't know, just something random, and we'll have that sorted. So
It begins what we call the activation and rendezvous phase of the mission. Now, this is during the phase the Dragon is configured for.
Nice, by the way. I'll try my best to cover CRS-32 docking to the ISS tomorrow, hopefully. Okay, yeah. So, we will be live for probably the next 10 hours, 12 hours. on a different stream, which will be the CRS-32 tracking or tracker stream, whatever, I'll call it something. So yeah.
That means the orbit isn't a perfect circle, but more like a very slight ellipse. And over the next several hours after liftoff, Dragon will execute a series of burns, which will gradually raise its orbit to align more closely with the station. And there are 5 major burns or firings of those Draco thrusters we were talking about on Dragon that will bring the spacecraft close to station before we begin the final approach maneuvers. And we'll continue to monitor that nose cone deploy as it looks like it'll get underway here shortly. Let's take side and transfer to the control rooms. On the left side, you can see the SpaceX mission control teams over in Hawthorne, California, and that oversaw today's launch and will continue to monitor Dragon on its journey to the International Space Station over the next day. The team you see on the right are here with me in mission control in Houston.
Thanks, mate.
The International
Thanks,
Space
Daniel.
Station Flight Control team is monitoring the orbiting complex, and over the course of the operations jointly with Hawthorne, the flight controllers there. Those joint operations between the two teams, you will see, will come a little closer to when Dragon is in its final approach phase, and that'll be about 2 hours or so prior to docking. The teams here are awaiting for that nose cone to deploy, and we'll also bring you those live views from inside Dragon, where you'll be able to see it open up and begin its journey onto the International Space Station ahead of docking. Well, speaking of docking, that is slated for tomorrow, Tuesday, April 22nd, with the anticipated time of 8:20 a.m. Eastern Time at 7:20 a.m. Central, and we'll have all the coverage starting here on NASA Plus, starting at 7:45 a.m. Eastern, 5:45 a.m. Central.
I'll start to plan streams here.
As we continue to await the nose cone deploy of NASA's SpaceX 32nd Commercial Resupply Services mission, as it is well on its way to the International Space Station after that on-time liftoff of 4:15
Our coverage will start at 12 p.m.
carrying over 3 tons of science.
The docking coverage with commentary will start at 12 p.m. UTC.
And that includes NASA astronauts,
which is 20 minutes before docking.
You can see in the front right-hand side, along with Nicole Ayers on the front left, Johnny Kim,
Nicole Ayers,
on
bro.
that back left-hand side, just over in the background. JAXA astronaut and Expedition Commander, newly minted Commander of Expedition 73, Takuya Onishi, and Roscosmos cosmonauts Kirill Penskov, Sergei Ryzhikov, and Alexei Zubritsky joining up for Expedition 73. And going into the docking phases, and again anticipated for tomorrow morning, Kim and Onishi will be the ones that will be monitoring the Dragon spacecraft as it approaches the International Space Station. And they just arrived on station pretty recently. For Johnny Kim, just arrived on station nearly 2 weeks ago, back on April 8th. And for Chiyo Kenichi on the right-hand side, he was just ahead of him with Crew 10 as he would arrive to the orbiting laboratory back on March 16th. And we mentioned that Onishi, the newly minted commander of Expedition 73, and that was just a couple of days ago on April 18th, and what has been a pretty busy weekend for overall spaceflight involving the International Space Station. And as docking begins, and once the spacecraft docks to the orbiting laboratory, it'll be Kim and team that'll begin to unpack the 3+ tons of cargo and supplies as they begin to re-up and refuel the International Space Station. As we continue to monitor here and await the nose cone deploy of the NASA SpaceX 32 or CRS-32 Commercial Resupply Services mission, we mentioned some of the key science aboard that spacecraft, and that was earlier in the broadcast, and you can find out more at nasa.gov. But another key piece of science is the APEX 12 experiment, the Advanced Plant Experiments in Space 12, that will investigate whether certain cell components can help plants survive stressful environments in space and influence the viability of future space crops. And we just got reports that the nose cone is beginning to deploy, so we'll keep an eye on for those first images inside Dragon. And there you can see the full breakdown of cargo that is heading to the International Space Station, including crew supplies, science investigations, spacewalking and equipment, and much more. And aboard Dragon also is a carefully curated menu of food to support those aboard the station, including a diverse selection of tailored choices to reflect the crew's individual preferences.
I'll answer the question in a second, Daniel. I'm just
to help maintain the crew's health, performance, and morale throughout the mission. And we continue to follow along inside the International Space Station Flight Control Room as we await the nose cone deploy of the 32nd Commercial Resupply Services mission. We mentioned earlier that Dragon will perform 5 key burns using its Draco thrusters to steadily close in on the International Space Station before beginning its final approach. Well, that first burn, the first major burn, is the phase burn, which happens at the highest point or apogee of Dragon's very first orbit as it's well on its way. It raises the lowest port or the orbit or the perigee, helping Dragon get closer to the space station's path. Burn number 2 is the boost burn, which is based on what our orbital data will tell us. The raise Dragon's orbit until it reaches an altitude just 10 kilometers lower than the space station. And then the third burn is the close co-elliptic burn, which adjusts Dragon's orbit so it stays about 10 kilometers below the station the whole way around the Earth. The fourth burn, the transfer burn maneuver, which raises Dragon's highest orbital point to just 2.5 kilometers below the station. And then we mentioned earlier the final co-elliptic burn that'll keep Dragon in a stable orbit 2.5 kilometers beneath the station as it lines up for approach. As we continue to follow along and await the nose cone deploy, starting to close in on that nose cone, opening up and exposing those bulkhead Draco thrusters. That'll help begin those burns. That'll begin about 45 minutes or so, that phase burn, that first one we mentioned, just shortly after that great on-time launch here earlier this morning. And after that, the Dragon spacecraft will reach different waypoints or checkpoints along its way as it'll begin approach initiation, and then waypoint 0, waypoint 1, and 2 before eventually docking with the International Space Station. That is slated again for tomorrow morning, Tuesday, April 22nd at 8:20 a.m. Eastern Time, 7:20 a.m. Central Time, and we'll have the NASA Plus start time at 7:45 a.m. Eastern, 5:45 a.m. Central. And we are closing in slowly but surely on that nose cone to be deployed as the team's on the ground in SpaceX on the left-hand side. You can see in Hawthorne, California, as well as the team here inside of the International Space Station Flight Control Room and Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, currently monitoring Dragon's progress. And they will be doing so over the next several hours, a little more than a day, between the time of launch to the time of the anticipated docking.
All right. Answering your question, Daniel, I have a question. How do you know about rocketry in space, and what motivates you to start streaming this in the first place? About rocketry in space, how do I know? Well, it started a long time ago. It was like probably 2013, 2012. When I was very interested in rocketry and all that stuff. And yes, that is real. I was interested in 2012. Around that, 2012, 2013, 2014 even, maybe. I don't even know. But it was a very long time ago, at least. And motivating me to stream this, yeah, I was always fan of like media stuff, like media, broadcasting, TV, and all that kind of stuff. I just thought maybe I should do it, just make like a channel. This name is actually pretty recent that I took this, the ThatSpaceDogeGuy name. Actually started off with that name in like 2023, which is pretty recent. It was first called, what's it called? Genius Gaming Live, I believe, or something else. I don't even know. And I thought that was quite lame, so I came up with something new, and this is what it is, and I think it will stay like this, because I don't have some new names. So yeah, pretty much that. Let me just rename the stream. Watch. Sister 2. All right. So that is pretty much the answer to my question, I think. Cause yeah. Also about the coast stream, I said I will do earlier. I will now send everyone a link to that stream that will start in about 10 minutes or so, so you can already have the link to it for soon after this stream ends. For me, I learned about space as I was a kid, but fell into rocketry rabbit hole almost a decade ago. First is all about liquid fuel, then moving on to solar and hybrid later on. Yeah, For me, it's just like dumping on everything at once. So yeah. Let's actually listen back to the SpaceX NASA broadcast here for a little.
Along the path that have happened, how do missions like the Commercial Service or Resupply Services mission, this 32nd one, continue to showcase the station's capabilities and its role in advancing science, technology, and exploration?
As we have now for decades, science is the hallmark and trademark of the International Space Station. The arrival of Dragon tomorrow with its supplies and research not only advances science and technology, but also enables us to continue fulfilling our objectives on this most amazing complex.
Dana Weigel, the International Space Station Program Manager, thank you so much for your time in joining today's broadcast.
Thank you again for having me.
Let's check back in with Yome and the team at SpaceX.
Thanks, Joseph. Dragon will now begin its journey toward the International Space Station, executing a series of phasing burns to gradually close the distance. This approach will take just over a day, with docking targeted for early tomorrow morning, Tuesday, April 22nd. NASA and SpaceX continue working side by side to deliver science, supplies, and inspiration to the orbiting laboratory. Congratulations again to the teams on another successful cargo resupply services launch. SpaceX is honored to be a part of NASA's Commercial Resupply Services initiative to deliver critical cargo to the space station, and we thank NASA for entrusting us with today's mission. It's only April, and we've already launched in partnership with NASA missions like Crew 10, CRX, and Punch, Firefly Aerospace, and Intuitive Machines. For those of you following along, you'll know that this mission marks our 45th of the year, and to stay up to date with all of our launches and missions, check SpaceX.com/launches for schedules. That will do it for us here at SpaceX in Hawthorne. Good night, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Hand it back to you, Joseph.
Thanks, Yome. As always, it's been a pleasure to team up with you and share this launch with you. Join us on NASA Plus for our coverage of the final approach and docking of this spacecraft beginning at 5:45 a.m. Central Time, 6:45 a.m. Eastern. Tomorrow, Tuesday, for that docking expected near 7:20 a.m. Central, 8:20 a.m. Eastern. Be sure to visit nasa.gov for the latest updates on our coverage and expected docking time as we follow the operations throughout the next few hours. With Dragon safely on its way to the International Space Station, that wraps up this morning's coverage of NASA and SpaceX's 32nd Commercial Resupply Services launch. Until next time, this is Mission Control Houston.
All right, taking a step back here, let's go to this follow Dragon, although it's really not working at the moment. Still probably loading, or it's gonna take a little while until they have started on this. Let me just do this here. What a well time, we're in a phase of fully reusable launch era. Oh, what the hell? Jump scare. Man, what a jump scare. Just got jump scared out of nowhere. Look how stupid that was. Live stream from the International Space Station. Here's on NASA live stream. So, what a great time to be alive, yeah. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Well, that was an awesome launch from the Kennedy Space Center, and although it won't conclude it for here for a very, very long time, as you know. Funny unintentional jump scare, I get it. All right, so I think that will conclude. Oh, it is loading. Never mind, I was wrong. Still taking a little bit before it actually enables, so we're just gonna the coast coverage will be later here. Let me actually check first if there's nothing wrong on the stuff I'm doing here. Okay, we should be good. Coast coverage will start in 2 minutes. I'll probably talk for a little bit, Daniel, and then we'll put some music on. So check the other stream, pinned comments, and we'll see you in literally just a minute.